most serious liberals took Machen's arguments seriously because he was not engaged in mere polemics. He was engaged in polemics, but he was trying to do something that was serious and trying to take the other person's point of view into perspective as much as possible. And I think how I came to Machen through that course at Harvard Div School with William R. Hutchison, I think he recognized that Machen was actually doing something unusual for fundamentalists. Um, the other part of that, though, I am. There are two kinds of historians. I guess you could argue there are lumpers and splitters. I'm a splitter. Typically, the history of fundamentalism has been written by lumpers. And so you put in everybody who's opposed to liberalism and you call them fundamentalists. And you don't really see the diversity of views there. And I've tried to rescue something like confessional Presbyterianism, partly to rescue Machen from the badge or the label of fundamentalism, which isn't a great thing. But even Machen himself, this is where another point where his life intersected with William Jennings Bryan, who was actually a much more interesting figure also than the ways, even I think the way confessional Presbyterians regard him. But when Bryan died 5 days after the Scopes trial, his friends in Dayton started a college, Bryan Memorial College, and they asked Machen to be the president. Machen declined, but in that letter he said, I never call myself a fundamentalist. I call myself a Calvinist. If the choice has to be, if it's only between fundamentalism and modernism, then I am a fundamentalist of the most pronounced stripe. But I prefer to call myself a Reformed Christian or Calvinist, not a fundamentalist, because he thought that fundamentalism really was trying to reduce Christianity to something of a bare few points of fundamentals, and that really wasn't the tradition of Princeton, old Princeton, or the tradition of confessional Presbyterianism. And truth be told, the word fundamentalism actually started with Southern Baptists in 1922 or so. I think it's not Frederick Lee Laws, it's somebody Lee Laws, Curtis Lee Laws, the editor of a Southern Baptist newspaper, adopts that term. So it really has Baptist origins. And this actually points also to the Fosdick, the importance of the Fosdick sermon. He was preaching as a Baptist, and he had Baptists, I think, on his mind when he was preaching that. He was pushing back against the fundamentalist Baptists, and he didn't seem to think that this could actually set something off among Presbyterians, which it wound up doing as well. So there's a really, I hate the word complicated right now. It's way overused. It's a convoluted series of events that are coming together there. But again, oftentimes historians lump it all together as fundamentalism. And I think it's an injustice to any number of the variations that are going on in the 1920s and trying to understand those people in their own times.
Would you see some analogs with what we deal with today with the evangelical vote? And you have anything lumped in there from historic Calvinism all the way to some version of Christianity that you find in like Netflix series The Family. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's
right.
This shadow organization apparently that's trying to run the American political scene.
Exactly. Yes. So you can have everyone from Franklin Graham to
Paula White.
White,
Yeah, exactly.
Or even Joel Osteen, although
right.
he's stayed out of the political stuff. But I mean, I've been saying this about evangelicalism for a while, so it's kind of a dead horse. But that's another word that's just become a lumping word that doesn't do justice to the variety of people in something that is a Protestantism outside the main line, which is one way of trying to think about it. But yeah, so and boy, have historians, scholars, journalists ridden that evangelicalism thing hard.